Yo, what's up friends? Welcome back to an episode of Finance from Scratch, where we learn finance concepts from scratch. Guaranteed beginner bubble friendly. If you're new here, what's up? My name's Nicole. Today, we're talking about investments. This is Finance from Scratch, where we talk about finance concepts from scratch. Let's get started. Almost all Finance from Scratch episodes will follow this discussion flow. We'll talk about the what, the why, and the how. For this video, we'll start with what is investing? What does it really mean? Then, we'll talk about why we invest. Why is it a thing? Then once you understand the what and the why, let's talk about taking action. How do you actually start investing? But before we start, I want to give a shout out to Shari-Shari, the first Filipino company that gives Filipinos access to investing in the US stock market. We'll talk more about them in a bit, but you can also check them out on their website. And of course, some important disclaimers. I am not a financial advisor. I'm just someone who's super passionate about personal finance, and I like to share the things that I learned, mostly from personal experience, in the hopes that it might help you guys understand these complex, overwhelming, yet important topics. But still, please don't forget to also do your own research. This video is not financial advice. Form your own opinions so that you can properly decide what to do with the information you learn from this video. We're talking about handling money. Pinaghirapan yung kitain yan, kaya kailangan nyo rin ingatan at pag-isipan na mabuti kung saan nyo yan ilalagay. For sure, investing is one of the more exciting finance topics because it's kind of a buzzword and it's associated with growing and making money, like wow. But take note that this is a super quick overview video, so maraming information na kulang. I didn't want to overload your brain with too much information. Step by step tayo. We'll cover more in-depth topics in future episodes. But for now, kung clear lahat yon, Gina, let's get started. First, let's start with the what. What is investing? Dictionary definition muna tayo. Merriam-Webster says investing is the act of committing money in order to earn a financial return. Investopedia naman says that investing is the act of distributing resources into something to generate income or gain profits. Right? So you put your money into something, tapos it will generate income. Okay, so why do we invest? Why don't we just save money? No? Yung lahat ng kinikita mo, lagay mo lang sa ilalim ng kama mo and that's it. Honestly, pwede naman, pero lugi ka. Ha? Bakit? There are actually two main reasons why people invest. The first one, inflation. Nicole, what's that? Last December 2022, inflation here in the Philippines hit 8%, which is crazy. Average inflation rate for 2022 is 4%. Dictionary definition of inflation. Inflation is a rise in prices, which can be translated as the decline of purchasing power over time. Ano da? Say for example, yung 1,000 pesos mo 10 years ago, baka isang cart puno na. But now, kahit isang basket hindi mo mapuno because of inflation. Okay, why does inflation happen? Bakit ba may inflation kainis? If you want to get more technical, there are three main types of inflation. Demand pull inflation, cost push inflation, and built-in inflation. It's helpful if you already have a basic understanding of economics, supply and demand. Baka in the future natin ito pag-isapan, but you can also do your own research now on what each of these mean and paano siya nangyayari. So, dahil may inflation, kung yung 1,000 pesos mo ilagay mo sa ilalim ng kama, in 10 years, hindi na 1,000 pesos yung value niyan. Kasi kinain na siya ng inflation. So, if this is a chart of how much yung average inflation per year in the past 10 years here in the Philippines, diba? Yung mga presyo ng mga bilihin, tumaas siya by this percent per year. Or, as an inverse, ganitong percent bumaba ang purchasing power ng pera mo per year. If the average inflation rate per year is 4%, tapos makahanap ka ng investment vehicle that gives you 4% or more, you're essentially able to preserve the value of your money against inflation. So, over the years, ganun pa rin yung value ng pera mo. Kung mas malaki, edi you are able to outpace inflation. The second reason is pretty much related to the first. You make your money work for you so that you can reach your finance goals or investment goals faster. Diba by default, tayo mismo yung kumikita ng pera, no? You put in the work, you get paid at whatever job that you have. That's cool. But what if you, alongside the money pile that you have, you can also put it to work by, let's say for example, yung 30,000 mo, maka-earn siya ng extra 4% this year kasi in-invest mo. That means, mas mabilis na lumaki ang pera mo because it's not just you working. You make your money work for you also. Okay, nice. Gets now what investing is and why we do it. Before we talk about actual investments, there are three important investing concepts that I want you guys to understand. Risk versus reward, compound interest, diversification. Risk versus reward, also known as risk-return trade-off. So there are two components to this, risk and reward. Dictionary definition of risk is a situation involving exposure to danger. So may pagkadelikado. Risk in finance is the degree of uncertainty and or potential financial loss inherent to an investment decision. What does this mean? Risk is already built into whatever investment vehicle you choose. The potential na mawala ang pera mo, there's always a level of risk. There's no such thing as guaranteed returns. In fact, while investing your money is risky, it's also as risky pag hindi ka nag-invest. Why? Inflation. So kung hindi mo lang ginagalawin yung pera mo, ayaw mo ipasok kasi baka may mawala sa stocks or whatever, kinakain pa rin ng inflation yung value ng pera mo. So you can't win. But what you can do is manage your risk. Next naman, reward. This is the profit, the income, the dividend, whatever you get for investing your money. Risk and reward are inherently connected to each other. So risk-return trade-off is the investment principle that indicates that the higher the risk, the higher potential reward. Different investment vehicles have varying risk-return trade-offs. Whether ilagay mo sa bangko lang yan or kukuha ka ng stock or sa bond, some investments are riskier, but then it can also give you a higher potential gain, while other investments are not as risky, which means mas mababa rin yung potential gain na makukuha mo. As an investor, it's important na hindi ka lang nakafocus sa reward. Like, talaga, 100% gain on this, Gina. No, it's actually, you also have to be conscious of the risk associated with certain rewards. So what you need to do is to know yourself on what level of risk you're willing to take for a certain amount of gain. Next, compound interest. This is like the secret sauce to supercharge your investment gains. Compound interest is when you generate interest on interest. Let's say, for example, 1,000 pesos pinasok mo in investment vehicle that gives you 4%. This year, kinita is 40 pesos. Next year, kung pinasok mo ulit, 1,040 na. Hindi na 40 pesos ang kikitain mo. Instead, wait lang, math. 41.6 pesos ang kikitain mo the next year. Tapos ipasok mo ulit, mas malaki na yun. Like, that's compound interest. The way for you to unlock the power of compound interest is through the ingredient called time. The longer time horizon you have, the more you can leverage compound interest. Kasi, exponential. So, compound interest will help if you have a longer time horizon, kung mas maaga ka mag-invest. Third, diversification. So Investopedia says that diversification is a strategy that mixes a wide variety of investments within a portfolio in an attempt to reduce portfolio risk. Diba sabi ko, lahat ng investment vehicles, there's a certain level of risk. What you can do is strategically manage the risk. In other words, diversification is you not putting all of your eggs in one basket. Yung lahat ng pera mo, hindi mo lang nilalagay sa isang investment vehicle. For example, kung in-all-in mo lahat ng pera mo into a certain stock, tapos yung stock na yun, yung company that owns that stock, maging bankrupt bukas, edi lahat ng pera mo nawala na rin. What you can do instead through the principle of diversification is, for example, like 30% of your money lang will be into stocks, 30% will be in bonds, 10% will be in savings accounts. Tapos if one goes down, at least yung other percentage of your money is still intact. When it comes to investing, one of the ways that you can apply diversification is through like yung portfolio balance mo. While you can be the one to decide the allocation for how much you're gonna put in stocks, bonds, or whatever matches your investing profile, meron din actually mga portfolio templates that you can follow for diversification. The Bogglehead Investing Portfolio, meron din yung Golden Butterfly, Core 4 Portfolio, whatever. Like, there are so many different investment strategies that people employ when it comes to managing their risk and then like where they put their investments. Knock, knock, knock. Okay pa ba yung utak nyo? Checking lang if you can still follow me. Ang dami na natin na pag-usapan, but hopefully by now, gets nyo na kung what investing is and why it's important, why we do these things. Now, let's talk about the specific how. We'll start by talking about different investment vehicles. Ano yung mga bagay na pwede nyong pag-investa ng pera para makapag-generate ng income? Alright, so first, cash and cash equivalents. This is cash. Cash is an investment position, no? Even though you technically, if you just hold 50 pesos, it's not gonna increase or decrease. It doesn't profit that way. But it's like your fuel for your investment decisions, whether you're gonna put cash in your savings account, whether you're gonna use it as capital for your business, whether you're gonna use cash to invest in stocks, bonds. It's like your level 0. You can't really progress to other forms of investments if you don't have cash in the first place, diba? You need cash as capital. Yung cash equivalent naman, these are short-term investments that are more or less as good as cash, or you can quickly convert them into cash. Some examples of cash equivalents are like time deposit accounts, LTNCD, which are like longer-term time deposits. Usually, it involves you locking in money in deposit for a specific period of time, and however much capital you're locking up or however long you're locking it up for, may equivalent rate na ibibigay sa'yo yung banko. Yung mga risk return, relatively low risk, especially if you hold cash. But if you put it into high-interest savings account, for example, you can earn from 3 to 6% per annum. How do you invest? You go to banks. Capital requirements pretty low. May mga bank accounts that there's no minimum maintaining balance. Time deposit usually has like a minimum investment. Investment horizon for these types of investments are pretty short. Like, pwede ka mag-deposit ng cash today, withdraw it today. Tapos yung mga time deposit, LTNCED, there are some that you can keep it like 30 days, 60 days, 90 days, 120 days. Next, fixed income securities. So it's an investment that gives a stream of fixed periodic interest payments and the eventual return of principal upon its maturity. So some examples of fixed income securities are like treasury notes, bills, mga bonds, corporate bonds, government bonds. For these types of investments, it usually involves you lending money to a specific entity. Diba usually tayo as individuals, tayo yung nanghihiram? But for fixed income securities, it's the reverse. Let's say, for example, you're gonna invest in a government bond. What you're essentially doing is that you're lending your money to the government. Tapos in return, the government is promising to pay you back all the money they borrowed from you. Plus, may patong. That's the main way. But people can actually also buy and sell fixed income securities in the secondary market. It's more or less low to medium risk. Government fixed income securities are safer than companies because governments, pag hindi na makabayad yung government, the economy is probably gonna be in a very bad situation. Companies are more likely to go bankrupt first before governments. Kaya mas risky yung corporate bonds. Capital requirement for this investment varies, low to high, depends on the classification of the fixed income security. May mga treasury bills that you can already start investing in for as low as 5,000 pesos. Certain bonds naman, 100,000 pesos yung minimum. Tapos in 50,000 peso increments. Investment horizon, it varies then depending on the maturity of the fixed income security you're investing in. Some are short, it matures na in 1 to 2 years. Meron mga 3 to 5 years, medium term. Meron din mga long term, 7 years, sometimes for as long as 25 years. How do you invest? You go to banks. There's also an app that I talked about a few years ago, bonds.ph. 3. Stocks, equities. These are the most famous and probably like the default mental picture of what people think about when it comes to investing. So these are investments that represent shares or equity in a publicly traded company. When you're investing in a stock, you're essentially owning a piece of the company. Say for example, gusto mo mag-invest in Jollibee, pwede ka mag-invest in Jollibee through the Philippine Stock Exchange. Bibili ka ng, I don't know, like 100 shares, 200 shares. And that already represents you being a 0.00 how many percent owner of Jollibee. And being an owner of certain companies gives you voting rights, and it also entitles you to dividends. How do you profit from investing in stocks? There's two main ways. One, capital appreciation, buy low, sell high. So for example, a stock, today yung price is 100 pesos. A month from now, 150 pesos na per share. Wow. When you sell it, then nag-profit ka na. That's capital appreciation. Another way is through dividends. For example, company A, malakas yung kita nila ngayon. A company has a number of options that they can decide to do with the earnings they had. First is just like reinvesting back into their business, or they can also like share the reward with their shareholders. How do you invest in stocks? You can create an online stock brokerage account. For the capital requirement, it depends. Honestly, you can already start investing in stocks depending on the minimum board lot of the company. For the investment horizon, it depends because you can do short-term, and usually that involves some level of trading, or long-term investing in stocks talaga. Fourth, funds. This is like an umbrella term because there's many different types of funds. But what it is, no, by definition, is that it's a pool of money. Usually there's an investment firm managing the fund. And depending on the fund, let's say for example, it's an equity fund, this type of fund will only invest in equities. It's helpful because it takes advantage of the concept of diversification. If you only have 1,000 pesos to invest, it's pretty hard to diversify that. Paano mo i-chop-chopin yun into several companies, no? When you invest in a fund, the fund itself is pooling money from many different types of investors, like investor A, B, C, D. 1,000 pesos lang kaya niya, 500 pesos kaya niya. But in aggregate, if there's like 1 million people investing in that specific fund, the fund itself has a lot of money to just invest on behalf of the people. And funds can invest in many different types of assets. Like for example, REITs versus equity fund. So both of these are essentially funds. But mga REITs, they invest in real estate properties. Equity fund, for example, they invest in stocks. How do you profit from funds? Two ways also. The first one is through capital appreciation. Another way is through dividends, but not all funds kasi pay dividends. Risk-return trade-off when it comes to funds, it also varies depending on the underlying asset that the fund is investing in. Next, real estate. So by definition, these are lands, buildings, natural resources, agriculture, livestock, and water mineral deposits. How do you earn from real estate? Essentially, it's just you owning something, usually property, tapos pinapahiram mo sa ibang tao, and they pay you rental income for being able to use it. There's residential, commercial, may agricultural din. Let's say for a condo, you're investing in a condo. Tapos meron kang pinapaupahan na tenants. They pay you, diba, rent. Meron din capital appreciation. Let's say for example, yung condo binili mo 5 years ago, it was 2 million pesos and now it's valued at 4 million pesos. Medium to high risk, it depends on property to property. Not all property is the same. How do you start facilitating a sale? Dapat you do it through a licensed real estate broker. But when it comes to just like looking for real estate properties, you can look at websites like Carousel, Moody. Capital requirement, huge. Depending on the price per square, a way for you to still invest in real estate but not have majority of the responsibilities that comes with owning real estate is through REITs. Yung investment horizon, it varies also. You can do like a short-term buy and then you renovate it and then you flip that property. Meron din yung longer term like land banking. Next, currencies, forex. It's not really investing, it's more of like a trading type of thing. So what this is essentially when you exchange a certain currency into another currency. For example, dollars to pesos, dollars to euros. So exchange rates fluctuate on a daily basis. And the way for you to profit, buy low, sell high also. Very risky, like high risk, super volatile ang forex market. How do you start? You can be like super old-fashioned, manual, traditional. Pupunta ka na lang sa currency exchange, sa bank, bibili ka ng dollars, and like in 5 years, pag umakyat na, you sell your dollars. Or the more modern way, forex trading platforms. Capital requirement, it depends on the platforms, but for you to be able to really take advantage of the gains that you'll get, medyo malaki yung capital requirement, like hundreds of thousands. Investment horizon is pretty short. Kasi nga, as I mentioned, more or less trading siya eh. There's so many more other investments, but I'll categorize them under the umbrella of alternative investments. These are like financial assets that don't really fall into like the traditional, more common asset classes like bonds, stocks. Some examples of this is like art, antiques, meron din mga shoes, collectible cards. There's also like angel investing, private investing. There's so many different types of investment choices. How do you choose? Everything I mentioned, these are investment vehicles. And as a better way for you to understand it, parang sasakyan lang yan. Each of these investment vehicles have their own attributes, characteristics that will help you achieve your goal in a certain way. So some investment vehicles, mas mabilis siya, pero bumpy ride, risky. Some is like chill lang, like slow, steady pace. You'll still get to where you want to be, but mas mabagal lang nga. Instead of just like blindly choose like, feel ko mag-invest ako into stocks kasi cool siya. No, top-down approach tayo. First, you need to figure out what your investment goals are. Ano ba talagang gusto mo mangyari? Kasi depending on your goal, mag-iiba din yung investment decision that will result in helping you achieve that goal. So, for example, if your goal is capital preservation, then more or less the investment return rate that you're looking for is something that matches inflation. Kung capital appreciation gusto mong kumita, and then whatever return your investment gives you should be more than inflation. Kung dividends naman, you want like a regular income source per month or per year, iba din yun. Some other important factors that will help you decide on which investment vehicle to choose are like risk appetite. How much risk are you willing to take? Are you willing to take on a lot of risk or not that much risk? Amount of capital. Do you only have 5,000 pesos to invest? 10,000 pesos every month? Or you already have like 500,000 pesos sitting aside waiting for you to invest it? Time horizon. How long are you going to be invested for? Is it just a period of 1 year? Kailangan mo na siyang gamitin? 5 years, 10 years, 25 years? And then you also need to consider how much time, energy, and attention you want to dedicate to managing your investments. Because there are some people na gusto talaga nila hands-on trading to talk sa market, or you just want a passive activity na you just check it once a month. It's super exciting now to think about how you can actually make your money work for you. Like, hell yeah, I want that. As I mentioned kanina, there are prerequisites that I think are important to establish before you actually get started investing. I started getting interested in personal finance when I was 18. Super na-excite ako with the concept that you can actually make your money work for you. Like, wow, richness, I'm not gonna work for money. My money will work for me. Passive income. But now that I'm 22, turning 23, it's been 4 or 5 years na at this point since I actually started learning how to manage my finances. I've learned a bit more, nag-mature na a bit yung mindset ko, and I'm not as clueless as when I was younger. Pag bata kasi, you don't really need to think about the serious adulting stuff. You don't need to pay bills. You don't need to worry about health emergencies, paying for your own stuff. But now that I've experienced earning my own money, I'm not as reliant on my parents anymore when it comes to my finances. I have become awoken to the demands of what it means to be an adult. But anyway, some of the checklist rule of thumb things before you start investing. Number 1, wala ka dapat utang. Why? Debt interest will eat your gains. Paying off your debt na lumiliit yun yung utang mo kada buwan na binabayaran mo is guaranteed. Investment gains are not guaranteed. So, set your priorities straight. Exception na dito is when you have loans that are actually beneficial, like business debt. No, it helps you generate money. But everything else, mga consumer loans, credit card debt, bayaran na muna yun. Second, emergency fund. Rule of thumb is to have 3 to 6 months worth of expenses saved aside. But honestly, it depends how safe you want to feel. Because you never know, in this economy, baka mawalan ka ng trabaho and it will take you a longer time to start generating income again. Make sure you have some safe level of safety net first with its savings para if something goes wrong, you're not gonna be forced to sell out your investments na palugi. Number 3, insurance. More specifically, health insurance. Medical emergencies can really wipe out your cash. Life insurance is not really like by default, not everyone really needs it, especially kung wala ka naman mga dependents. Number 4, medyo general, but I think it's good to have established proper financial habits na. Like a good mastery of your own personal finances na. Like you know how to budget, you know how to control yourself, mga splurges, you're less likely to be emotional when it comes to your purchases. I think building blocks to that will help set you up for success when it comes time na you start investing na mismo. Now let's go to a more actionable part. How do you actually start investing? And for this example, we'll use stocks. No? How do you start investing in stocks? A while ago, I mentioned that for you to be able to invest in stocks, you need to have a stock brokerage account. Let's use Shari-Shari as an example to start investing in US stocks. First of all, ano muna yung Shari-Shari? Shari-Shari is the first Filipino company that gives Filipinos access to investing in the US stock market. If you're interested in investing in global markets, you can't invest in them kasi with our local stock brokerages. Walang access doon. Some of the features that they have is that you can place recurring orders. Tapos yung pag-invest din is in fractional shares. So you don't need to own one whole share of Nike or Apple, especially kung masyado mahal siya. You can just order 0.25 of a share. How you can start using Shari-Shari? First, you need to sign up for an account. Then you need to go through a KYC process. And once your account has been verified, you can start funding your account and then buy US-based companies. Ako personally, when investing in the US stock market, I prefer to invest in ETFs. So right now, I'm investing in the mix of VTI and VXUS. VTI is representative of the US stock market, tapos VXUS is like a vanguard representative of international non-US stocks. Once again, this was a super quick overview, just meant to give you a general understanding of what investing is, why people do it, and how you could potentially start. We'll definitely cover the topics that I talked about more in depth in future episodes. What do you think of this new series? Are there other topics you want me to cover? Just like leave them in the comment section below because I've been really experimenting with my content. Hope you guys learned something new. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.